kind of wanted to
Yeah.
have a specific shout out to players like Leo, Spargo, Aquila that have had like a lot of magnifying glasses on them, like, you know, who's the best player in the world, like, and like especially Leo, like just kind of trusting himself and just going to the next tournament, like, and just winning. Like, it's really impressive because I feel like, at least for me specifically, like I feel like I was feeling that pressure like as soon as I sat down to play my first match at Genesis specifically. It's just a different tournament. Especially like I have my own history with that tournament series, so like just respect to like those players specifically for persevering through like anything. I admire that a lot, and I definitely was feeling the pressure. And like for players like Gluto to like just sit down, just like pull, like just clutch it out with Wario, or just like play super well, or all these players that had like game fives, whether it was winning or losing, and just kept going, and like Light or Spargo or Leo, like it's just impressive. Like these players are just warriors, and it's like they're gonna show up next tournament and just put on a show like always too. So
Bro.
scary stuff.
I think too with your run, it is worth noting, because we were only talking about the Light and the Cosmos set, that you had to play a Steve, Samuel, and you also had to play Rocky, who's a very good Pac-Man too,
Yeah.
which is very, very tough for your character lineup. So I mean, you 3-0'd both of them, but I know those are stressful matchups for you. So even going into the top 8, like those were the stressful matchups, and then you got to play a couple familiar ones. You get to play against Big Boss next, who's the Rob, obviously, and then you played against Vendetta, who played the matchup fantastically. He went all Ryu, or did he go Ken game 1?
Yeah, so he went all Ryu, and Vendetta did play that set fantastic. I have a lot of
insane
playing against Vendetta online over quarantine, just like really good practice. We put a lot of hours in together, and I think Vendetta was really prepared and played really well. I feel like Vendetta's neutral, or at least patience / defense specifically, was actually a lot better than mine that set, and I probably can't say that for a lot of players. My patience and defense is usually stronger. So with Ryu versus Diddy specifically, for me to say that, I feel like is really, really crazy. Especially because I'm actually really good against players that I play with a lot. If I get a grip on something, I'll never let it go, and you'll never be able to play the game. But I feel like Vendetta really switched that up a lot and just played it really well. I also didn't expect the Ryu for some reason. I expected it maybe after I beat the Ken or something like that. So just good stuff. But yeah, I did have to play basically like the worst case scenario kind of Diddy bracket at Genesis. And I was saying that a lot and thinking that a lot, that it was very different than Let's Make Big Moves, where I didn't play Sephiroth a single game that tournament, where I actually had to play Sephiroth quite a bit this weekend. I played Sephiroth against Steve and Pac-Man. And yeah, like you said, I won both sets 3-0. So that was pretty cool. It was just really cool to give Sephiroth some spotlight. None of it was like on stream or anything. But yeah, that's the cool thing about like winning those sets with Sephiroth, is I got to play some familiar matchups because Sephiroth was able to pull through. You know what I mean? Like I got to play against Rob, which is my favorite matchup in the entire game. And I got to play against Vendetta's Ryu, which is a familiar matchup and player. So kind of like Leo's run, just having that kind of thing to fall back on is really nice. And my Sephiroth gets a lot less tournament play time than my Diddy, so I'm never really sure how it's going to work out. And it can like be like hot or cold, like within a stocks difference. Like it could be working great, or it can be like feeling like it wasn't worth selecting at all. And that's really nerve wracking. And not even to include the character specific stuff that would align with the same thought process, where like, you know, he's just not a consistent character or like a top tier or anything like that. He's like the same weight as Kirby or whatever. So like it's scary. And like not having like any good moves or frame data. Like, but I feel like it ramped up versus Samuel Steve and versus Rocky's Pac-Man, like as the set progressed. And that was cool, but Gluto, I feel like, never even gave me a chance to like figure it out. So that was scary. It was a big decision for me to either like lose game one to Diddy or stay Sephiroth, and I stayed Sephiroth. And that was probably my biggest mistake of that set. I feel like I probably needed to switch off, but like I said, like I was having such a hard time, like really being in the moment. Like Genesis is super stressful, and I was really upset about my winners loss still. And that's basically what I've been getting about how inspirational these players in top eight were. They're so in the moment and so focused and playing so well. And I'm just kind of like felt like I was looking from like outside of myself, like just like kind of envious of it. I was like, damn, like I'm super nervous and I don't even know what character I'm gonna pick, and these guys are playing so well. But yeah, that was pretty much it for my run. Basically just more Sephiroth than usual, which is pretty cool because I love the character, but definitely lose more and more faith with him by the day, but we'll see what happens.
It's hard because with you specifically, you can play a bunch of different characters really well. So you just have, well, one, you just have a lot of options, and two, you can push Sephiroth really far. And there are a lot of players that push like lower high tiers, you know what I mean, like pretty far, or like mid high tiers, you know, whatever have you, like Sephiroth's decent, obviously, and Sephiroth's solid. Sephiroth can get some wins, and if you pick it in certain matchups, yes. But are there other sword characters that do it way better than Sephiroth?
Multiple.
Abso-fucking-lutely. There's a shitload of them, actually. So it's weird because a lot of people actually came up to me during the tournament. They're like, man, you think Sephiroth sucks? Like, you're crazy. I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, I don't really care where I put Sephiroth in terms of like top whatever. Is there other characters that can do what Sephiroth does but better? And if the answer is yes, then I don't give a shit where Sephiroth is. There's just other characters that can do what he does, but way stronger and way more.
That was one of the harsh realities as I started to play Sephiroth, especially with Diddy specifically, is realizing that he doesn't just cover zoners. In fact, I think he does pretty poorly versus some zoners. Like he's pretty like hit or miss versus like I don't even think he does that well versus like Samus or like the Lynx, and like it's scary that Sephiroth is my like counterpick guy because it's just not.
It's super fucking cool.
It is.
Agreed. It does rule, yeah.
It's fucking sick. Sephiroth is badass.
Yeah, and like, or just in general, like anytime I'm going Sephiroth instead of Diddy, the funniest thing about it is sometimes I'm still playing a losing matchup, and sometimes I'm playing a worse matchup than I would have been if I played Diddy. Like for example, like Light and his Fox is such a hard thing to be ready for because at Ludwig's I won with Sephiroth, but I knew it might not happen again, and it's also like laughably bad when it comes to like the ratio of the matchup. It's like 6-4 at best. Like it could very realistically be worse than that, like just by the numbers, just like objectively, like the frame data that's like being put on the table. But if I play Diddy, it's like just as bad, or like there's like it's like, you know, there's not many pros or cons. It's basically all cons across both characters. So it's just tough decision. And I feel like I had a lot of really close matches that just ended up being losses. So like sometimes it's not even about Sephiroth or Diddy, right? It's just sometimes it came down to like a decision or two. So
that is one thing I'll say about Sephiroth. Like sometimes when I watch you play him, I'm like, it's going all right. But when you get Wing, I'm like, all right, it's game time. Like let's go. All right, hang
that's
it up.
The scariest thing though is it's being boiled down to like one of the lightest characters being at kill percent. So it's like I have less to work with, but like it is my like win condition. It's my chance. So
hell, you don't need it all the time, but it is very, very nice when you
as the bracket progresses, it feels like I do need it all the time.
I was gonna say, I think you do. Like, I mean, that's why I think the character is flawed. Like, you just have things that are just directly conflicting with each other. It's like, oh, how do you win with Sephiroth? Well, I get Wing and I'm like super broken. I'm DLC. I paid $6 for this. I'm Sephiroth. I sliced Galeem in half. I'm super crazy, right? Like, that's why you fucking play the fucking character, and then you're like practically Pichu-ate but you can stack fucking 5 Pichus on this guy. Like that's the height of Sephiroth. Like 5 or 6 Pichus. At
5
least with
Pichus in a
Pichu-
trench coat, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Someone needs to draw that art because
That
that's what
sounds
fucking
very
Sephiroth is. But yeah, I mean, because like when you think about Pichu, at least you have a small hurt box, right? So at least you're hard to hit. The caveat is like, oh, Olimar, Pichu, Kirby, like they're all really light, but they're very hard to hit. I'll even throw Fox in there, right? Fox is like a medium-sized character, but very fast and nimble, right? Like there's caveats to it. But Sephiroth is like, oh, I'm super fucking light, and I'm just the Empire State Building. Like you're just so fucking tall. Like Fox can do rising back air, and you can only exclusively do that on fucking heavies. You know what I'm saying? Like Donkey Kong, Bowser. Those are the only characters that Fox can do rising back air in neutral.
Oh, damn, you got me.
Speaking of bans, can we get fucking rid of Lilat now? Is it over? Can we please?
Please,
Yeah,
man.
I saw it twice.
I ran, and in crucial moments, Game 5 Mars Gluto was one of them, and Spargo Light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I tweeted, I asked, what do you guys think about, let me see, let me pull it up. I just wrote Lilat, legal or illegal? 66%, 1,500 votes, 66% illegal. Get rid of that shit.
Why is that so much lower than I thought?
I know, dude. I thought it would be like a clear 80-20, but...
Well, I know the Smash community is a little weird where they're like, more stages the better, diversity.
No.
They get like very weird.
Fuck it. Put on Mushroom Kingdom 2 then. Fuck it.
No, they get that level of weird. They get really upset when there's less stages.
We all agree though,
They
right?
take
Like,
it to heart. They get mad.
I've been team fuck Lilat forever. Fuck that stage. I hate Lilat so fucking much.
It's so funny how polarizing it is. No one feels like middle ground about it. It's either I love that stage or I fucking hate that
Battlefield
crowd.
and Dreamland. What the heck?
Huh?
Yeah, go back to Smash 4 stage list. Battlefield Dreamland. Bring it back.
I want to lose to Mario right now. Give me options.
Yeah.
I remember being a Fox player, and I'll just ask my opponent, what's your ban? And then, like, just frame one. If they said Battlefield, I'd be like, as they're finishing the word Battlefield, I'd be like, all right, Dreamland. Or if they vice versa. And it's just like, I'm getting triplats. You only have one ban. I get to play on triplats. Fuck you. Feels hype.
I guess that about wraps it up for today. It was a crazy weekend.
Yeah, it was really good. I had a great weekend.
I might go back to practicing. That's how.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh, we feeling inspired out here?
Yeah, I already did my practice for the day, but I'm probably gonna keep playing.
So,
what?